Thank you. All right. I am fired up to rewire the enterprise. Who in here is fired up to rewire the enterprise? All right, well, it's my job today to convince you that you should be more fired up than that. That was pretty tepid. And when I say the enterprise, thank you very much. When I say the enterprise, I mean more than just companies. I mean companies, I mean governments, nonprofits, every organization in the world that can use technology better to be more productive. And when I say rewire, I mean all these amazing innovations you've been hearing about at the summit. Cloud, where you can get one server or 1,000 servers quickly and economically. Cloud applications, mobile devices, amazing devices, supercomputers in our pocket with high-resolution displays and monitors and sensors, and a network that's fast, a cell network that's faster today than your office network was 10 years ago. An amazing amount of innovation, and it's important for us, and it's an important mission for us, because, why? Because how many of you have used a website from your government that is awesome? Just awesome. There's one of you. What about a mobile app? How many of you have used mobile apps at work that are perfect and do everything you need? A couple more. It's not because the people in government or the people in these companies don't know what they're doing. It's because they need help. They need help from people like us. They need help in products and in solutions and services to move them forward, to let them make their organizations more productive, make governments better, make society better, make the world better. That's the mission. Now, if that didn't get you, if that doesn't appeal to you, I'll try a different approach. There's a lot of money in it. A lot of money. The IT industry is multi-trillion dollars with a T. Just to put that in perspective, the global spend on advertising, $500 billion, of which about $140 billion of that is digital advertising. So multiple trillion-dollar market versus $500 billion or $140 billion. So there's money in it. So that's why you should be motivated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a little bit about my history and then some key lessons I've learned over my nearly 20-year career on how to build great products and innovate and move organizations forward. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in California. I live in San Francisco today with my wife and 2 kids. I went to college. I studied business and computer science. I started at PeopleSoft, where I worked for 8 years as a developer and then later as a manager. Then I moved over to Salesforce.com, where I was the VP of engineering for all products and platforms for 6 years after that. And then about 5 years ago, I started a company called Okta, which is an identity management company that sells security for cloud applications, single sign-on user management to enterprises around the world. And the 4 lessons I've learned that are key to success to rewiring the enterprise are: first, people are the most important. People matter. Second, you have to embrace your crazy ideas. Third, I'm going to tell you about where the best place to get ideas is on how to do this. And finally, I'm going to talk about customer success in this new era. So here we go. PeopleSoft. I learned all about people at PeopleSoft. And for those of you that don't remember, PeopleSoft sold HR software. It could have very well been called PeopleSoft because of something else about the company, which was we were meticulous about the culture of the people. And the founders, Dave Duffield and Ken Morris, were maniacal about building a great culture and investing in people so that we at PeopleSoft thought it was our company. We didn't think it was the shareholders' company. We didn't think it was the management's company. We thought it was our company. And it made us extremely loyal and extremely focused. And it's very powerful. Because if you want to rewire the enterprise and move to another level, this is the kind of people you need. When it gets hard, they need to keep pushing. You need to be transparent with them and share information with them. Make them feel empowered. Give them the ability to make decisions and feel ownership. And they will run the extra mile for you. And it can be worth billions of dollars. If you remember the story of PeopleSoft, in June of 2003, Oracle launched a hostile takeover bid of PeopleSoft. It was unprecedented. It was the first hostile takeover in the tech industry in 30 years. The strategy of Oracle was, we're going to launch this hostile takeover, and PeopleSoft would crumble. They would miss their sales numbers, people would leave, they wouldn't be motivated to execute, and Oracle would get the company on the cheap. Didn't work. For those of you that remember, the battle went on for 18 months. The first bid for the company was about $7 billion. The battle went on. PeopleSoft, we stayed strong. We kept hitting our numbers. We kept executing. We announced new products. Oracle eventually did prevail, but they had to pay over $10 billion for the company. And I believe that that collective spirit, that teamwork, those empowered people, that culture, was worth billions of dollars to PeopleSoft. I learned the power of a crazy idea at Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com, JP did a great job describing Salesforce and their vision. When I worked at Salesforce, it was a long time ago. It was early in the company. It was 2003. And it wasn't what it is today. It wasn't a $5 billion juggernaut. It was this crazy company that was going to take your customer data and put it on the internet, right? Very different than it is now. But the founder and the early team there, Mark Benioff and his team, are brilliant. They realized early on that they needed to lean into this crazy idea. And you know what they found out? Crazy ideas, when they work, have a lot of advantages. A lot of advantages. First being, you can get people to sign up for it. These great people, this great team you've built, they get inspired by this crazy idea, this fact that, hey, maybe we can do something no one else has ever done. It fired me up there. Hey, man, we could build customer database on the web. No one's ever done that before. And you know what? There's other benefits. You're clearly differentiated from all competitors. Our motto, no software. The other guys, software. It's your choice. It had tremendous impacts for brand and for loyalty of the company. So embrace your crazy ideas. I'll tell you a funny story about this. To be able to execute this, you have to be as brilliant as Mark. You have to be able to know it's a crazy idea and flaunt it and embrace it, but also know a little bit about reality. So after about a month working with Mark, I was in a meeting with him, my first big meeting with him, and he was talking about the platform and how we're going to build this platform, and you're going to be able to run any application in the cloud. This is before Amazon or anything. This is in 2004. And he said it's going to, and he starts talking about it like it's working today. Like, oh, you can have any data there, and you can have any kind of screen, and it's in workflow and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, this guy's crazy. He doesn't even know what our product does. And about 5 minutes into this speech, he looks at me and he goes, now, Todd, I know we don't have any of that stuff, and it sounds crazy, but we're going to get there someday, so trust me. So the power of a crazy idea. Now I'm going to tell you about where to get your best ideas. Now, if I actually had all the brilliant ideas, I probably wouldn't tell you anyways, so I don't have all the brilliant ideas, but I can tell you that there are thousands of them. Inside of your big company, there are ideas that you can implement. If you're looking to start a business, there are many ideas you could implement to help organizations with these challenges. If you're an investor, there's many areas to invest in. And the best place to get ideas, it sounds simple, is from the end user. Think about what the end user is trying to do. In all this time of change, when new technology is coming out and new products being announced and things are changing very rapidly, the one thing that's always the same, whether it's big data or cloud or mobile or social, is that it's got to get to end users. So think about what the end user wants to do from that frame of reference. It'll free you from what was possible yesterday and what informed the previous solutions, and empower you to create exactly what is innovative today. In software design, there was a whole school of thought a long time ago around functional requirements and data flow diagrams and trying to map out systems from that perspective. The new way to do this is something called user stories, and it's an agile development where you write all your requirements from the user perspective, and I think this is right on. You inform yourself from the user. Another example of how this is powerful is Uber. Right? When Uber started, they didn't think, how are we going to build a multinational, complex logistical system? Right? They said, hey, you know what? It would be really cool if I could press a button and a car would show up. They built a complex global routing system after that, but they started from the end user and they were inspired. So let the end user inspire you. And not only will you build better products and be more innovative, but you'll have something that can be adopted very quickly from the ground up, because end users will take your product and run from it. And this was true in Salesforce as well. Salesforce.com didn't think about, hey, we're going to build a very complex system to match Siebel, the competitor at the time. Salesforce said, you know what? What people want is they want a simple system that can allow contacts to be stored, simple sales forecasting, opportunity reporting. We're going to build that. There's going to be no software install, very quick to get going, can be adopted in a certain department and then spread out over time. So they were end user driven. and it inspired them to amazing success. If you looked at Salesforce at the time, the features and functions, the checklists, they would have lost by a mile to the competitors. They didn't have all the functionality. The secret was it didn't matter. All they needed was the functionality that end users wanted. That was the power. So listen to the end user. So at my current company, Okta, we take a lot of these principles to heart. We've tried to build a great team, empower people. The product was a little crazy. 5 years ago, we said, hey, we're going to do security in the cloud. And not many people were using cloud applications, so some people looked at us a little strangely. But 5 years forward, it turns out there's a lot of advantages of that in our approach, so we're doing very well. But the real secret of Okta is the last lesson, and that is all about customer success. The great thing about the cloud, it's a subscription business. And if you don't make your customers successful, you'll be out of business. They won't pay the bills. It's a very powerful feedback loop. So you have to make customers successful. Not only that, with what's happened in the last few years with social media and transparency about everything in the world, customers buy differently. They don't just go to the trade show and listen to the salesperson and then watch the demos and then buy. They talk to people. Even if they're the only company in Dublin, Ireland using the new solution, they get on the internet, they get on Facebook, they get on Twitter, and they find people that are using this product. And they talk to them. It's reference selling. It's reference selling. So you have to make your customer successful. It's the only kind of marketing that works. And you think industry analysts. For those of you that have worked in enterprise, you know industry analysts are very important. Here's the secret. Industry analysts now, what do you think they do? They talk to customers. They're not going to recommend some vendor that doesn't have happy, successful customers. Because if they do, they know the first thing that company's going to do is call 10 of their friends. And they don't want to hear from 10 of their friends something different than the analyst said. So it works across the board. So you have to delight your customers. It's the key to success in this new world. So this is an important movement. All of our organizations, from governments, nonprofits, enterprises, need to adopt this new technology. They need products that you're going to build. They need projects inside of your companies that can make these organizations better, make the economy stronger, make the world better. We can do this. And with these simple lessons, focus on the people, lean into your crazy idea. Crazy is good. Listen to the end users. Listen to the end users. It's extremely important. And finally, delight your customers. We can do this together. Are you in it with me? Who's fired up? Come on! Thank you very much.